Game Changers, we're back. NFL playoff predictions, the wild card round. We are excited for this. I'm back. Obviously, my boy Nick's here. We're missing Matt, but it's okay. He's here in spirit. I don't think he sent us his picks, did he?
Not yet, but he will.
All right, so it's not going to be in the video, but that's all right. We'll put it in the description of this video, so make sure you check that out. We do NFL predictions all the time, so make sure you check out our reaction or our prediction playlist that's going to be at the end of this video, so make sure you guys check that out. We're pretty on point, especially with the playoffs, so make sure you check that out. So, but we're going to go through all the games that are going to be happening this weekend and predicting who we think is going to win each game. So the first one that we're going to start with is the Chargers at the Texans. I'm going to start with this one, Nick. I'll have you take the second one, but we're definitely going to both do our predictions. Yep. So with the Chargers and the Texans, I actually think this is going to be a close game. I think the Texans are actually going to pull this one out. They are home, and then but the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, he's a great coach, and I think it's going to be it might even be a low-scoring game, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle game. But I got the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud, even though he's had a down year this year, I think another year of experience is going to help him out in the playoffs. So, Nick, who do you got?
So right off the bat, we're going to be on separate picks here because I'm going Chargers.
Here we go.
The reason why I'm going Chargers is because the beginning of the year, they started off really slow. And it was like everybody's just gelling together. They're trying to get used to each other. It was Harbaugh's first time with this full team. But then once the year progressed, they got so much better. They were beating top teams. Like the Bengals, I thought was a big win for them.
Yeah.
That was basically like a fight to see who would get into the playoffs. And the Chargers won that. And then they had some really close calls against the Chiefs. So I feel like they could take on any team. And they have they're not like big name stars, but they do enough to like fill in their role. Like Ladd McConkey, for example. Yeah. Like he was a great rookie this year. Not compared to like all the other rookies, but he did what he was supposed to do in that offense and that system that Jim Harbaugh ran. And the way I saw for Texans is they've been on a little bit of a slump lately, and I feel like it's going to continue. So for this one, I'm going to say Chargers.
All right. Close game or blowout?
I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the Chargers will pull it out at the end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game, but I do have the Texans. The only thing that worries me about the Texans is injuries, too. Obviously, Stephon Diggs went down, Tank Dell went down, and I'm sure there's others, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But we both agree it's going to be a close game. You know what's crazy, too? Wild stat. Ladd McConkey, stat-wise, and if you're fantasy guys, we're big fantasy players as well. Yep. Ladd McConkey was wide receiver 3 out of rookies. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow. So the only ones that beat him were Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Nabers.
Yep, and in that order, too. Brian Thomas Jr. had the best stats, fantasy-wise, in the NFL as a rookie this year. And Marvin Harrison Jr. was not in the top 3. Pretty wild. I think career-wise, I think he'll be fine, but I think more of the blame is on Kyler Murray.
They just got to throw him the ball.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, though? He had over 100 targets. So, but I think he only had like 60-something receptions or something like that. So, going off the top of my head, so don't quote me on that. All right, next game on Saturday is going to be Steelers at Ravens. This one's going to be a fun one. It's another divisional game, so this is them playing for the 3rd time this year. I honestly think this one might be a blowout. Ravens are just they're going on all cylinders right now. They got Derrick Henry and they got Lamar Jackson. Lamar needs to win the big one. I think he's the front runner for MVP again, and we'll do that in another video. But I think he's the front runner. If you actually look at the stats, he should probably win MVP again. And his team is just running on all cylinders. And Steelers have just been in a slump. If we want to talk about slumps, this is a team that's been slumping towards the end of the year. The only outlier in this game is Steelers defense. They're always showing up. They're always playing really well, especially during playoff time. So if they can show up, then it might be a close game. But no matter what, I think this is a sure bet that the Ravens are going to win this game. Who do you got?
Same thing. I got the Ravens. I think this is going to be a blowout as well. Though I would not be surprised if the Steelers made it a close game because division games are usually close. Sometimes they're unpredictable. They played twice, and actually the first matchup, the Steelers won that. Yeah. It was a very low-scoring game, and the Steelers won that. And that was when Russell Wilson was on a hot streak, and now he's on a cold streak. And I think that's going to continue. I think Derrick Henry with this new team, I think is going to run all over the Steelers like he did in that second game, and also with the game he had against the Browns. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game, and I think the game is going to be over pretty quickly, too. So they're just going to keep eating the clock, running up the score. For this one, I think it's going to be a shock if the Steelers pull it out. Yeah. I would say Ravens.
We did not check the weather either, so that's a mistake that we made. So weather always plays a factor, but even if the weather is terrible, I think that also favors the Ravens because, again, they're the two-headed monster. They talk about it in Detroit with Sonic and Knuckles. I think you can say the same thing about the Ravens as well with Lamar and Derrick Henry. So, all right, we're both on the same page with that one. Next game is going to be the Broncos at the Bills. This one is an interesting one. You got a rookie quarterback going against a quarterback that's in the playoffs every single year. And I think that's going to play a big part. Even though Bo Nix isn't your average, ordinary rookie, he's got so much experience in college, and it showed this year. And I want to take a step back real quick. I don't think anybody thought the Broncos was going to make the playoffs this year. So kudos to them. But I do think they lose this game. And I don't think this one's going to be that close either. I got the Bills just because on experience. And the Bills have just shocked me all year long. I didn't think they were even going to win their division this year. But Josh Allen, I mean, he's up there. He's the cream of the crop with quarterbacks. So I got Bills winning this one easy. Who do you got?
So yeah, the Broncos, they're a really good team, and nobody thought they would be this good. Like you said, they've really impressed. And Bo Nix, I think, was the best quarterback in that system. And it really goes to show, when quarterbacks are entering drafts, they shouldn't be worried about what number they're being selected in. They should be worried about what situation they're going to be in.
I agree.
Because imagine if Caleb Williams was in that situation, would he be in a different quarterback play from what Chicago was, and then with Denver is? It's you really have to ask yourself those questions. So it's I think Bo Nix really benefited from. He wasn't the top 4 pick of the quarterbacks, but he was a 20th pick or whatever the Broncos had. But it didn't matter because look, he's in the playoffs compared to all the other rookie quarterbacks out there than Jaden Daniels. It's he was going great, and I think they have a bright future, and that team really gels well together. But I think that ends in this one. I think the Bills are going to win this one because right now the Bills are just firing all cylinders in terms of offense and defense, and nobody thought that, and myself included, I didn't think they were going to win a division because of all the pieces that they lost. It turns out Josh Allen's give me whoever, I'll make a star out of him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, and the crazy thing too is you look at their wide receiver core, and nobody really really stuck out. Even Dalton Kincaid didn't have that big of a year. It was just run heavy offense. Josh Allen did his thing, and James Cook really balled out this year as well. I'm gonna debate you though. We're gonna debate about. I don't agree with Nick when he talked about if Caleb Williams was in Denver because his problem is he just holds the ball way too long, and I think Sean Payton would just rip his hair out if he had Caleb Williams. So, but I do agree with you that he was in the perfect. Bo Nix was in the perfect system with Sean Payton because he's just so smart and he can get rid of the ball pretty quick. So, I think if you put Bo Nix in with the Chicago Bears, I think he performs just as well. Their offense was great. They had 3 great wide receivers, a pretty decent running back, a great tight end. Caleb Williams just holds the ball too long, and I blame him and obviously coaching for a lot of the Bears' problems. All right, we're moving on to the next game. This one's going to be an interesting one. It's Packers at Eagles. I think the Eagles should handle the Packers. It should be a pretty close game, but the what if is Jalen Hurts. I mean, they're just not giving really that many updates on how he's doing, his health, with his concussion. So if he's full go and he's fine, I think the Eagles handle the Packers, especially with their injuries as well. Jordan Love got hurt a little bit last game. He had a little stinger in his elbow. That might linger, but they don't have Jair Alexander, and I'm sure they're missing other pieces as well. And the Eagles are pretty healthy, besides obviously Jalen Hurts. So I got Eagles. I think it's going to be a 10-point game, maybe a 7-point game. But I got the Eagles over the Packers in this game. Who do you got?
I got Eagles in this one, and I think it's going to be a blowout. And the reason being is because the Eagles, especially they played each other week 1. That was a super close game. That was the game where Jordan Love got hurt. And it was a super close game with who had the ball at the last second, which was the Eagles. But this one I think is completely different. The Eagles have gotten so much better since then. They're the number 2 team right now. And Saquon, I think he should have gone for that record in the final game of the season against the Giants. I feel like that would have been the biggest kick in the teeth to the Giants, basically saying look at the mistake you made. And I really wanted Saquon to do that because I love the guy. I really did. Even when he left the Giants, I'm hey, you do what's best for you. And
this is a Giants fan talking too. I love
it. I am. So it's for that one, I was I wanted Saquon to beat the record against his former team just so he could stick it to them, just so they can make better decisions in the future. But that didn't get the chance. But for this one, I got the Eagles, and it comes to a lot of things. I think Jalen Hurts is playing from the last time I saw. I think I heard something saying he cleared concussion protocol and he should be playing.
That's a good sign.
But even if he wasn't playing, I would still give it to the Eagles. And the reason being is because with the Packers, they got so many injuries right now. We don't even know if Jordan Love is going to be a full-on good to go. And then Christian Watson, he's done. So they lost a lot of pieces too.
Yeah.
So it's like they have even Josh Jacobs had a great first year with the Packers, so they should like run him to the ground. But pretty much like I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be all Eagles. Like offense and defense, they're like a complete team.
Awesome. So we have the same picks except for that Houston Chargers game. All right, final 2 games. Then we're going to the Commanders at the Bucs. This might be a shocker, but I got the Commanders winning this game. I really like what Baker's been doing down in Tampa, but they battled to the end to secure the division, and the Commanders they look good. And Jaden Daniels, we're talking about rookie quarterbacks that just don't act like rookie quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels is another one. He's just got it. And if you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, there's certain athletes that just have it. It's hard to explain. And Jaden Daniels is one of them. And I think he pulls off the upset, if you can call it an upset. And it's my first away team winning in the wild card round. I think this game will be close. This one might be a shootout, too. You got 2 offenses that just explode. So this could be a shootout. So, Nick, who do you got in this one?
I was going back and forth with this one. I think this is going to be the toughest pick to make out of all the games. Like, you had the Bucs doing what they did, and then you have the Commanders doing what they did. For this one, I'm going against you. I'm going Bucs.
Oh, here we go.
Bucs. And I think it's because a lot of factors. Home field advantage. They play great at home. And Baker, I think his magic continues. It's like, I will be the first to say, I did not think he was going to have a good year because when Dave Canales left that system, like Dave Canales is a quarterback whisperer. So I thought when he left Tampa, I thought Baker was going to fall back down to earth, and boy, was I wrong about that. Like, he outperformed like crazy. So I'll definitely be looking at him next year to pick up in fantasy if I'm able to. But like, he definitely made good with Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin was unfortunate, but Bucky Irving was a big surprise too. So you had a lot of things. McMillan. Yep. So you had a lot of big surprises in Tampa happening, and I think that's going to continue. Now, Jaden Daniels, I will say though, I think he has a great long career ahead of him. It's just for this one, it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be who has the ball last, and I think the Bucs going to have the ball last, and I think they're going to make something happen. I think Baker's going to like put everything on his shoulders, and he's going to make it all happen, and I think he's going to pull it out.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I like a couple of these matchups this first round because they're up in the air. And speaking of up in the air, the last game, and this one's wild because we got to be praying for those in L.A. and California, not just L.A., with all the wildfires that are going on out there. So definitely praying for you guys out there. So the L.A. Rams game, confirm this if I'm right. I heard it's going to be played in Arizona. Is that correct?
It is.
So it's not even really a home game for the Rams, but they have a lot that they're playing for. And for that reason, this is another game up in the air. I have not believed in the Vikings all year, just with Sam Darnold and all that kind of stuff. But it just continued to bite me. And I think it's going to happen. It might happen again because I'm picking the Rams. And the reason why I'm picking the Rams is because of the stuff that's going on in California. Matt Stafford's already won a Super Bowl, so he knows what it takes in the playoffs. They're pretty healthy. So I'm going with the Rams, and they're home, if we can call it home. But I'm going with the Rams in a very, very close game. Again, what Nick just said for the last game, I think that's what could happen in this game. Nick, who do you got?
For this one, I thought it was going to be a lot closer of a pick that I had, but then when I was really looking into it, I only looked at one team, and that's Minnesota. I think they're going to pull it out because they were fighting to the end of the regular season as the number 1 team. Now, granted, they did not do too good against the Lions, but the Lions are like one of the best teams right now. I just feel like the Vikings are another complete team where like they have all things going on offense and defense, but another thing that's like, what has like Sam Darnold been like? It shows you that it shows you coaching matters. Yes. It really did, because it's like when he was with the Jets, he was terrible, and then when he was with Carolina, he like was okay, but he wasn't that good. Yeah. But then you saw flashes of him when he was the backup in San Fran, like, oh, maybe he could be something. And then he gets his chance to shine in Minnesota, and boy, did he take advantage of that. Yeah. I think Kevin O'Connell is one of the guys who's going to be up in the running for Coach of the Year based on what he did with those guys.
100%.
They only have 3 losses in the season. Now, one of those losses, I will admit, was against the Rams. So there's that going. But I think the Vikings are going to learn from that loss, basically looking like, hey, what can we do to fix this? Because the Vikings are such a well-coached team.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it, too, is the Rams, they have not been like firing on all cylinders lately. They've been doing enough to win, but it hasn't been pretty.
Yeah.
So I just think that sure, I think they're going to get Puka involved, Kupp involved, Kyron Williams involved, but I think Minnesota's defense is going to overwhelm.
Their defense is good.
Their defense. So for that one, like I would think Minnesota is going to win that one, and we could get a possible rematch with Detroit and Minnesota. That's going to be a banger.
Or even Detroit and LA with Stafford going back to Detroit. So you got a
like
lot of
that one too.
Yeah, you got a lot of storylines going on. So that's our picks, guys. I hope you guys enjoy them. Make sure you put in the comments who you guys have winning each matchup as well. We love dialoguing with you guys. And also, we're going to do the awards video ASAP because the awards are going to start coming out. So we got to do that as soon as possible. And our boy Matt just texted us and put his picks in. So he's a little bit late for the video, but that's okay. We're going to put it in the details of this video. So make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos. We want to go YouTube full time and give God the glory. That's our focus. That's our view. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video. And check us out next week and see who got the right predictions and who got the wrong predictions. God bless. He's got to work on that.